After using the Gossamer gear Kumo for almost 4,000 miles, they made some improvements.
This is a prototype that Gossamer Gear sent me for free. They didn't pay me to make a review, they just sent me the bag.
So in case if you don't know, I used this 2015 model on the entire Pacific Crest Trail and on half of the Appalachian Trail. So I got to know it pretty well, and this thing is disgusting. Like, it stinks right now. There's a lot of things that won't be mentioned in this review. One of the things is weight. The 2015 model was, I believe, 19.5 ounces. I'm assuming that the new one is very similar, but I don't own a scale, so head over to their website if you're interested in that. I'll just run top down and go through all the things that are new and improved on the new model. The first thing I notice is the hydration port is in the center instead of on the left and right sides. Next, it's got that same zipper pocket on the top, same closure system, although the front buckles are this new kind of almost upside down looking buckle, and all of the webbing is quite a bit thinner. The inside of the new pack has a hydration port. I think the old one had one that I cut out, and it also has 3 little hooks. The biggest problem that I had with the 2015 model was there's no shoulder strap storage, and if you go hip beltless, then you have no accessible storage except for the sides. I ended up sewing this for my little camera and this for my phone, but if it was implemented in the pack, it would have been a lot better. The shoulder straps are where I noticed the biggest difference. They're much thinner and much harder than the 2015 model. I noticed on the 31-mile hike that I did with it that my shoulders got more sore than I would have expected. I was carrying about 22 pounds, but that could just be that my shoulders are used to my other pack that I've been using, which is much thicker on the shoulder pads. It's definitely not a downside, but something to consider. It's got that same little red strap to hook things onto, and the biggest difference, the shoulder pockets. Now, these shoulder pockets are huge. You can put a Sony RX100 point and shoot camera in there, but it's definitely not quick and easy. I wouldn't do that as my main place to store it. They also changed the sternum strap, so instead of attaching it by a ribbon, it's got this little slide up and down thingy, and the sternum strap is a thinner webbing. There's also this really cool integrated whistle that if you want to be super UL, you can remove. That's kind of cool. Haven't seen one of those before. The back panel's got this mesh where you can store a sleeping pad. I believe that they're very similar, if not the same, on the old and new models. Although with the new one, they came out with this new sit pad. I'm not sure if it's going to come with the pack when you buy it or if it's an add-on. If you're into sit pads, it's quite a bit better than the old closed cell foam one. Now this one's just like, it's like a closed cell foam with webbing that goes around it. It's a lot stiffer. It works a lot better as a frame sheet. But that being said, it only works as a frame sheet. You can't really use it as a sleeping pad, whereas you can put an actual sleeping pad back here and use that space for that. Personally, I have a thermarest that I cut down to torso length, and I would put my 1/8 inch foam pad in there to use under my legs. Having something that's multi-purpose to me makes more sense. It also is compatible with the Thermarest Neo Air, and I believe the Thermarest closed cell mats too. Now on the front, it's got that same pocket, same size, same everything. To comment on the big front pocket that's slanted, people have said that it seems like a really bad design. You could store more in a pocket that's just straight across, and I agree, you could store more, but you can already store so much in this pocket that if you really need to store more, you just need a bigger pack. The benefit that I noticed of having it slanted, you can reach back with your right hand and access things that are in that pocket, whereas if it was much higher, you'd have to do a lot of weird contortion stuff and it wouldn't work very well. But on the PCT, I carried an iPad, which was too big to be stored anywhere but that pocket. So it was nice to access, and also when I carry this camera with the big mic on the top, it's just nice to be able to reach back and grab it without having to take my pack off. So it does look a lot different, and some people might not understand why. I don't know if I understand why they did it, but it actually proved out to be pretty functional. On the side, you've got the same attachment points with the little string and the tightener thingy. And then down below, the same kind of water bottle pockets. I don't know if it's because this pack is new or what, but it seems like it's a lot tighter, which should help with water bottles jiggling around. And the hip belt I found to be really interesting. It's modular this time. It's got this little quick release clip, and you can take that off, and there's 2 heights for it, so if you're shorter, it does better with the torso length, and you can fit quite a bit in there. Although you do have that option, so if you load it up with winter gear and it's a lot heavier and you want a hip belt, you still got that. The last model, it was always a pain having to run the webbing through the cinch every time you wanted to take it on and off, and then the hip belt slipped, so they were always coming loose, and this is just a huge improvement with the hip belt. Then you've got your standard ice axe loop. I'm pretty happy to see all the improvements they made to this. This is the pack that I've carried the longest, and I don't see any downsides about the new pack except for it doesn't have thousands of miles of love and sweat. This has been a good pack, but here you can see, surprisingly, there's no holes in it. There's lots of little dents, and the mesh is just opening, so it's loose, but yeah, it lasted really well. Let's talk about the size for a little bit. I've had quite a few people ask me if it's big enough to fit the gear that they're using, and for traditional through hiking gear, I think, yeah, it's plenty big. I was able to fit a planned 9 days of food. There's food stuff down the side, and I still have this, which ended up being 7 days of food, but with a bear can and all my gear, plus winter gear. So if you have your kit dialed in, then it's gonna be too big. But it is nice because if you have a bigger tent, or you have a larger synthetic sleeping bag, or just you carry more layers because you get cold, there's room for that. I wanna say thanks to Gossamer Gear for sending me this pack to try out, and if this is your first time to the channel, I'd invite you to subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them below. Maybe I'll answer them. Thank you for watching.